Joe, a few weeks back I read a post in your blog where you were congratulating your fellow crayonista Greg Berdino on his upcoming book. And in that post you mentioned the importance of the people who work in this industry of actually living the digital marketing space, having a blog and and writing a book maybe, and participating in the conversation. And I agree with you 100%. Could you elaborate a little more on that importance so that the digital marketers in Mexico get an idea of what you mean?
Well, too often marketers, they don't participate. Now look, on one hand, I subscribe to the adage, which is it's not important to be the best accountant, it is important to hire the best accountant. So marketers should hire the best agencies. But I think the challenge, I don't think that's enough though. I think marketers, they cannot say, well, I can't get on Facebook because I don't have access permission or firewall. Then get a 3G card, and bring in another laptop and do it on the underground or do it rogue or whatever. How can a marketer just let everything go and just take their fate out of their own hands, just cede it to even an agency, no matter how talented that agency is? So you've got to live it, you've got to participate, you've got to try it out for yourself, you've got to find an hour in the morning or in the evening on the weekends to experience this for yourself. And I think the problem right now, and I feel bad for some of the digital agencies because I mean, let's face it, they're doing performance-based deals and dealing with ad networks and CPA, CPL, CP, whatever the hell, deals that they're having to be responsible, and they've got to be focused on the reach, and they've got to be focused on putting 30-second spots online and fighting with the traditional agency, and they've got to be focused on the emerging platform as well. So, I wrote a controversial article where I said I didn't think digital agencies should be in charge of social media. And I would say to digital agencies, if you really want to be in charge of social media, you have to prove to me that you have enough people in your entire company across the board that live this, that haven't been on Twitter for a week, but have been on Twitter for 2 years, that don't have 12 people following them, but have 20,000 following them. And it's not just about the numbers or the tenure, it's about active participation. I'll give you a quick example. Every week, I must get 5 to 10, if not 10 to 20 pitches from PR agencies and, dear influential blogger, dear Dave. And then I'm like, and then immediately I get like another email going, oh, I don't know what I was thinking, I called you Dave by accident. I'm like, no, you didn't call me Dave by accident. You sent the previous email to someone called Dave and then you forgot to cut and paste, you lazy SOB. So, because I live on the other side and I'm one of those influencers that people reach, now I can help my clients, and I can help other people figure out how to influence the influencers because I've been on the other side. That's the kind of participation that only, and the learnings and the mistakes and the insights that only come from first-hand participation.
Okay, and some of the biggest names of people, of professionals that are participating in the industry, I think we are all familiar with, not yours, of course, but we also have Mitch Joel or Seth Godin, or we have Danny Meadows in the UK, etc. And we are all familiar with these names in the US or in the UK. But to tell the truth, there are not a lot of names from the Latin American markets. Why do you think that is?
By the way, I love the way you called Seth Godin. He sounds like Rodan. He sounds like Seth. You should use that in the future. When I came down here about a year ago, we found a handful of top Mexican bloggers. But what we found at the time was that they weren't really bloggers, they were just writing articles. So it was more of just people coming from more of a journalist background. I'm not sure, it's hard to say why there hasn't been as much uptake in some of the Latin American countries, but I would guess that there probably are more today than there were a year ago. That's for sure. And I think that what's happening as well is we're starting to see, Latin America is not as much of a problem as maybe in some parts of South America, let's say, or in the Middle East right now. But freedom of speech really is it's like oxygen. It's becoming part of everything, and people not being afraid to say what they feel and stand up for what they believe. that again is permeating through the entire world. The other thing is you need a community on the other hand. You don't want to be the only blogger. You want to be a handful of bloggers. You want to feel like you're feeding off something. So I think that maybe you guys will invest in some blogger meetups and encourage more and more people to start their own blogs and to, and what else happens as well is over time what will happen is people will give up their day jobs because they will take on blogging and podcasting full time or video because they realize that they can make more money from this and they can live a dream and they can actualize themselves and be influential to the point. So, I always talk about time. I say time is the great equalizer and the great level of playing fields. Just because it's not here today doesn't mean it won't be here tomorrow. It will be here tomorrow, and hopefully with companies like you guys, you can help to grease the wheels and catalyze, the fourth thing, catalyze those conversations.